Just got done with having another panic attack. I don't know what's going on with me. I've been having them a lot lately. I'd say since April, I've had more panic attacks since April than I have in the last 5, 6 years of my life. Panic attacks are just something that I absolutely dread, as most people that have ever had a panic attack. And if you've never had a panic attack, I'm sure you've heard about someone who's had one, or you can just only imagine what it feels like. They're absolutely dreadful. Sometimes I can get like warning signs before one's going to come on, but most of the time, everything is fine. I'm not feeling anything particularly stressful before it happens, and all of a sudden it just hits me. And out of all the signs and the symptoms that come along with a panic attack, I think it's the inability to breathe that is the most frightening, as it would be for probably the majority of people who suffer from panic attacks. That feeling of being underwater or being suffocated, everything gets very, very fast around me. I feel like I'm going in slow mo. And it's a feeling of like absolute dread. I should have said at the beginning of this video, this might be a little triggering. If it is, I'm truly, truly sorry. I just figured I would come on and talk after one of my panic attacks to sort of like talk myself down and to reach out to anyone else that suffers from panic attacks to maybe talk about the aftermath, the relief that comes over you when it's over and you come back to your normal. I always rely on my faith. There's a very famous, um, I guess, picture or saying about footprints in the sand. And I find that if I recite the last line of the saying, that calms me or brings me down. And it goes a little something like this. I'm not sure what it is word for word, but from what I remember that I recite to myself is, "My child, I love you and I will never forsake you. For the times in your life when you see only one set of footprints in the sand, it was then that I carried you." I'm amazed that I'm able to say that without tearing up, because usually when I say that, it just chokes me up. Just the very thought of someone loving you so much that they would carry you through the toughest times of your life, it just gets you right in the feels. And I think another good one to recite is the Serenity Prayer. I was able to contact Mike when I got to work, because I didn't want to bother him in the middle of my panic attack, because sometimes that's trigger inducing for me, because I don't know if I'm going to get hysterical or not. And I was in a very public place and I didn't want to draw any more attention to myself. And so I called him and I asked him to recite the Serenity Prayer with me. And I think I remember it. And I think it is, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." I'm hoping I got that right. I call that the AA prayer. Mike had told me years ago that's what they recite at AA. I find begging and pleading with the higher power, whatever higher power you believe in, with me, it's God, always helps. My breathing and my grounding, doing the 5 to 1, where you notice 5 things in your surroundings, and 4 sounds or 4 smells, 3 things, where you can kind of stop in the middle of your panic attack and notice where you are, be present in the situation and not get lost, because I very, very regularly feel like I'm lost in the moment. I feel like I'm drowning and I can't recall what's real and what's not. So I know bringing my senses to life for me is a good way to ground myself and to help me through it. But most times I just have to ride the wave. And luckily, this panic attack only lasted minutes. I know sometimes they can last up to an hour, and that's very frightening. But most panic attacks only last minutes. They feel like a lifetime. They're physically and emotionally draining. I feel like I'm almost lost time when I'm done. I feel a lot of shame. I'm mostly frustrated and upset, but so grateful when it's over. And embarrassed, like I can't believe I let my mind go there. Um, I'm mostly perplexed. I'm sorry for the tongue tying. I'm sorry, I'm holding my phone and I don't have the best lighting in my room, so I'm trying to get my best light for you. I'm mostly perplexed because, like I said, I was having a normal day. I was just doing a regular routine. I was on my way to work. I wasn't particularly stressed about anything. I wasn't running late. I didn't have any bad thoughts in my mind. There was no drama at home. It was just going to be a particularly normal day. I wasn't anticipating any drama at work. And it just hit me and caught me right in the moment. And what do you do when that happens? For me, I was speaking to God and holding on for dear life and just waiting for the moment to pass. And I breathed. I tried not to hyperventilate because I felt like I couldn't breathe. So I was just like, literally, I was just sitting in the bus on my way to work. That's where I was when the panic attack happened. And I was telling myself, Kelly, just breathe. But I wanted to be very careful with my breathing because I didn't want to hyperventilate and I didn't want to draw any attention to me. And so I was trying to do my breathing and in through my nose, out through my mouth. All this while there was just a bus full of people. There were young people on there and they were having a good time and laughing and being loud and rowdy like they normally are. And I was like screaming inside, like, help, help, somebody help me. But I couldn't get the words out. I was just sitting there panicking. And so I was sipping on water and just saying the serenity, or trying to recall the serenity prayer, but I couldn't. But like just saying the footprints in the sand over and over and waiting and pleading with God to help this panic attack pass. And it did. It didn't last very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But again, it felt like a lifetime. I got off the bus and the first thing I did was breathe and just say, thank you, God. Thank you for getting me off this bus. I panicked. I wanted to get off the bus, stops before my actual stop. And then I had to worry about how I was going to get to work. And then I automatically was dreading taking the bus ride home. And that was panic stricken to me. But I had to tell myself, stop, live in the moment. Don't worry about what's going to come ahead. Just live in the now, be in the present. So I was trying to stay very present. And I'm here to report to you guys that I did it. I was a little apprehensive about taking the bus home. I'm not going to lie. I was a little nervous. But I brought a couple things for myself to read to keep my mind occupied. And I was careful of my breathing, tried to keep myself very present. And I did it. I was a little nervous, but I did it. And I came home and I was so grateful. And Mike was there at the stop to wait for me. And we walked home, and I decided to sit out on my stoop like I normally do when I get home. There was a wonderful breeze. Didn't feel like summer, felt like fall, which is fine for me because I'm a fall and a winter person. But it was nice, and Mike came upstairs and put our stuff away, and then he came back downstairs and he joined me, and we sat out there and we talked for a bit, and I saw a couple stray cats and looked at them and tried to call them over, and then I realized it was getting late and I wanted to get on here and share my experience with you guys, and so here I am, and I'm glad I did it. I made it through. The panic attack didn't get the best of me. I survived. And if you're going through it, you're going to survive it too. I didn't have to take a Xanax, although I was ready to take one if I needed to. I just sipped on water, got to work, preoccupied my mind with my job and my task at hand, and I did it. And I'm so glad to report it to you guys. And now I'm making a video and talking to you guys, which always makes me feel better. And now I'm breathing. And I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I'm very present right now. So that's what my video was to talk to you guys tonight about. And to any of you that suffer with panic attacks, more sympathetic I could not be. I'm actually going to call my counselor tomorrow and get in touch with my psychiatrist to let them know that I have been experiencing a lot more panic attacks than I want to. I don't want to have any, but I've really been suffering with quite a few. So maybe we need to talk or do a medication adjustment to see what's going on. And I did it. I stuck with my faith and I got myself through it. And if you're going through one, I'm rooting for you. You can do it. Be present. Stay present. That is the key, to stay present. This too shall pass. I promise. I hope this video finds you well. I hope it wasn't too triggering. I'm sorry it wasn't a happy-go-lucky video. Not that I make too many happy-go-lucky videos, but I do always try to leave it on a positive. And it's always wonderful to hear comments from you guys. I really appreciate you all watching my videos. You're all friends to me, and I wish you all the best. And until I talk to you again, you take care. Bye.